for us, that's sacrilegious. That's so disrespectful that that we climb or just play on our mother, you know, who was brought us to safety, that we don't give her that same respect. So, any other questions? That answered that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Lori, we have about 5 or 4 minutes left.
Okay.
However you feel most comfortable in that time, or maybe even one more story, maybe the chipmunk story is just so brilliant, or the evergreen. We have about 4 minutes left here. So.
Let me see, do you have a favorite? Falling Rocks?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell Falling Rocks because that's a funny story. So the story is, we have a lot of family stories as well that go along. There was a family that lived in the mountains near Shiprock, and the son they had was, you know, young adult. But he had been in trouble growing up. He had been in trouble, and you know, he had gone through a bad phase. You know, I just talked about regenerating. He had just regenerated his life. He started a new path. So when he came home, everybody was happy because he had been away. He had had a punishment. He was, you know, did his time, whatever you want to say. But he came home and he was ready to start new again. Well, when he went back to his family, everybody heard in the village that was nearest to them. Everybody heard about this young man, and his English translation was Falling Rocks. They heard about him and him coming home. So everybody was celebrating. Well, where they lived was in a mountain, and there was a road that went through it. So there was a lot of people, travelers, who would go through, and some would visit and stop. But in this mountain pass, there was people who weren't from there that had gotten robbed, and they were robbed, and the thief took everything that they had, and they reported it to the local police society there. And they said, everybody thought, oh no, it's that Falling Rocks. The police said, we've heard Falling Rocks is back, so we need to hear from him. And the family thought, oh, that can't be. And they lived a ways up in the hills. So word got back up there to this family that the society was looking for Falling Rocks. And they asked him, did you do this? He said, I've been up here this whole time. I didn't do anything. I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm good. I've changed. You've got to believe me. They just didn't know what to do. So they said, okay, you need to go up higher into the mountains. Just wait there. We'll try to figure out what's going on. But boy, those police were really on the hunt for this Falling Rocks. They put posters up everywhere. They posted, you know, signs all over the place. Look out for Falling Rocks. Watch for Falling Rocks. Everywhere, looking for this kid. And as people would come through who didn't know, they never found him. He never came forward. The family, you know, swore, and he had alibis. People knew where he was. Police didn't give up looking for this kid. And finally, eventually, a couple years later, you know, he eventually came back home, and they realized, they later caught the culprits, but these signs were still everywhere. And so today, when you drive through some of these valleys and in these canyons along in the mountains, you see these signs, watch for Falling Rocks. Well, people didn't understand what that meant, so as tourists went through, they'd be going along, riding along, and then they look up and see these signs for Falling Rocks. But the important thing is that whatever we do in our past, you need to be careful, because that has an effect on your future. As hard as it is to change, things in our past always determine what our future holds. So
wonderful. Let's give her a round of applause.